Okay. So sodium chloride, these are things, actually they're like that because they want to have a relationship with something. We put them together, it creates heat and energy, and something completely different is born out of that relationship, which is salt. Now, we can eat salt, we can enjoy salt. Actually, salt, on the other hand, goes in our body, splits up into negative and positive ions, and then actually carries on very many important processes in our body. But the thing is that from God created sodium, chlorine, man and women, but also, they come together and produce something completely unique, something completely different, which is sodium. Salt. The union of the two creates something new and different and beyond. But that's just a very basic, elemental kind of thing. But look at this. God gave his love and created a man. God gave his love and created a woman, okay? And they love God in return, we hope. And their creation, God's energy initiates this love. I mean, you put a man and you put sodium chloride together, they explode into salt. You put a man and a woman together, let's don't get too technical here, but they explode into love. I mean, it's natural. It's so natural that we got to be careful that we kind of keep, separate until it's the right time. And through their relationship, they produce something far beyond themselves. Now, we could say, yeah, of course, they produce children, right? Which is different than themselves. It's much more than the sum of the whole. But also they produce other things. They produce a family. They produce a love, a life, existence, something that exists just beyond who they are. Okay, we call this thing here, this is called the four-position foundation. Okay? Okay, four-position foundation. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4. Four-position foundation. God's character is united. It's a union of masculine and feminine, positivity and negativity. God's character splits in creation. It divides. And then these things create give and take based on God's universal power and energy, and they unite into something that's beyond what they started out as. Okay? It's a union. Something new comes into existence through this. Oh, sorry. My mistake. Origin. God is the origin. Later on, everybody's going to persecute me about that. Okay. God is the origin. Everything starts in God, divides, and then comes together into a union, into something new. We could say a child, but like I said, it's certainly in this case much more than just a child. Origin, division, union, coming together and creating something much bigger. This is the four-position foundation. Now we can see each one of these, human being, this man can relate to God, have give and take with God, can relate to the woman, have give and take with the woman, and also have give and take with the child. And also the woman too can relate to God, can relate to the man, can relate to the child. The child can relate to the man, can relate to the woman, and at the child's age sees God through, can relate to God as he grows older. Originally sees God through his parents, but ultimately can relate to God himself. So each one of these can relate to the other three. We call it three objects purpose. Each one of them at some time takes subject position and can relate to the other three. And actually can dominate the relationship, okay? I don't care how all-powerful God is. I don't care how smart and handsome the man is, how beautiful and sweet the woman is. If the child's diaper needs changing, it's going to get changed, and that is going to be initiated by the child, okay? Same thing to man, same thing to woman. Sometimes each one initiates. That's a beautiful thing about this. I think one thing I really appreciate about divine principle, many times we feel, for example, that God is far away. God is the boss, the leader, the master, and we feel, okay, my job is to follow, to obey, which it is. But, we also sometimes can lead God. Sometimes, led by God, sometimes can lead God. And when each one of these, at various times in the relationship, is taking a subject position, it's not centering on any one of these completely, but becomes almost like a revolving sphere of relationships. This one with this one here, and everything. The relationships kind of almost start spinning, and it's not just a a boom, boom, boom kind of thing. It's a interplay, beautiful interplay of relationships of many different kinds on many different levels. And so this is origin, division, union, action. Okay, now this is all really abstract and kind of technical. I mean, you guys probably didn't come here for a metaphysics class, right? So why are we talking about all this kind of stuff? Well, the thing is, that, like I said before, if we want to understand our life, if we want to understand our purpose, if we want to know who we are, what our life, where we're going, we have to understand some of the foundations of what life is about, why we're here. And this is the building blocks of it right here. So let me ask you then. Okay, now we got all this incredibly exciting technical stuff. Let's get back to our original question. What is the purpose of creation? Why are we here? Why did God go to all this trouble to make all of this effort? Okay? Well, let's get back to this lonely God in the circle here, all by himself. A God with no creation, in one sense, cannot be God, because God implies creation. But on a deeper level, when I asked what is God's characteristics, internal characteristics, the first thing somebody answered was love. When we relate to God, we like to think that God didn't create us out of hatred, out of anger, out of spite, but that God created us because God had a reason to give something to us. And that thing is love. And to receive something back from us. That God's purpose of creation is love. And love is impossible when you're alone. So God created creation to have something to love. God wanted to see himself reflected in his creation. And to see the creation respond to his love and return it back to him. We can say that God is the subject, creation is the object. God gives love, and the creation returns beauty to God. That shows God that God can see reflected in his love, reflected back on him. God's purpose of creation is love. Okay? And as we talked before, there's different kinds of bodies that exist. Now, God gives love to the plants. In the form of sunlight, water, things like that. And the plants respond by growing and producing beautiful flowers. And yet if a man was alone on a desert island full of beautiful flowers, would he be satisfied? Would he be satisfied? No. I don't think so. If a man can't be satisfied in that circumstance, could God be satisfied just to have beautiful plants and flowers? Now, Cowboy, Damien's dog, is a really wonderful, fun dog, right, Damien?
Yeah.
Absolutely obedient.
Sometimes.
It's a lot of fun to be around Cowboy. He's really goofy and he runs around a lot and everything like that. If a man was on a desert island alone with a goofy dog like Cowboy, would he be satisfied? No. Because flowers and dogs respond, in a sense, in a programmed way. We know what they're going to do. It takes all the fun out of the relationship. God created human beings to live with love, and yet to receive love, to give love and to receive it back from love requires, for it to really be love, that the object, interaction, and free will. The object cannot return love without the ability to decide whether to love or not to love. Isn't it true? I always use the example, I could create a robot that would follow me around. Well, I couldn't do it, but it's maybe pay somebody. I love you, I love you, I love you, you are great, you are wonderful, you are great. Would that be satisfactory? How long would it take me to get tired of that thing and turn it off? And yet, if my daughter says, Daddy, you're the best dad in the world. She's not a teenager yet. How wonderful that makes me feel. Because I didn't force that out of her.